Good afternoon. My name is, wait a second, Paul Nelson. And first of all, I'd like to see, does anybody out there like flowers? Dandelions?
Yeah.
Okay, dandelions have their spot, okay? Too many spots, but they have their place. Okay, so I better get started here. Welcome to another Lunch and Learn. Again, that's my name, I guess, Paul Nelson. Today's topic is a garden at Cranbrook, or more precisely, the Cranbrook Sunken Garden. Not Stunken Garden, but Sunken Garden. This picture on the screen shows last year's 2025 garden. The theme for that design was gemstones, if you picture that, but more, it's really triangles and parallelograms, if you want to think of it that way. Please feel free to ask questions, hopefully easy questions. And Valerie said that the crowd would be a friendly crowd. Okay, so before I talk about the Sunken Garden, I'd like to share some personal background and then present some details about Cranbrook. If this clicker works. Okay, here's some of the personal background. It should be fast. I grew up in a small town in northern North Dakota, just 12 miles from the Canadian border. I graduated from the University of North Dakota. Go Green, not Michigan State, but Go Green, University of North Dakota. And I spent my career working for General Motors and electronic data systems, primarily in the area of computer-aided design and simulation. I've been volunteering at the Cranbrook House and Garden since the last century, 1998. And I'm married to Mary Marvel Nelson, and we've been church members here since 2016. Anybody ready to play a little Jeopardy? Yeah. Okay. I did my cell phone ready here, if I can find something. So this is how I hope it works. I'll ask you a question, play 30 seconds of Jeopardy, is it jingle? Jeopardy music? And then see if anybody can come up with the answer. So let me get the next slide here for the answer, for the question. What two Canadian provinces border North Dakota? You can think it over, and then I'll play this Jeopardy music and see who can answer that question, if this works. Almost there. She said it was too long. Okay, that's the music. And anybody have an answer over here?
Go ahead.
What?
I said it. Manitoba and Saskatchewan.
You got it. And it also has given me a chance to talk a little bit about North Dakota, I think. Here we go. Here you can see in North Dakota, there's Saskatchewan and Manitoba. I was born in Minot. If you've heard of Minot before, you might have heard it on the national news forecast, because quite often the weather comes from Minot, Fargo area, and very nice weather coming there to the Detroit area, right?
Yes.
Why not Minot?
Yeah, that's right. Why not Minot? I actually grew up in a little town called Bowbells, a really good name, really. Back when Bowbells was settled, there was a railroad system called the Sioux Line, and I think the executives there had some English background. And in England, there's a cathedral or a church called Bow, and if you're considered to be a real Londoner or a Cockney, if you were living within listening sound of the bells, that's what they call Bowbells. So I think it's a pretty neat name. My next favorite name is a city in Saskatchewan called Moose Jaw. And if you know where Regina is, you probably know where Moose Jaw is. Anyway, I think, is that it for that, Mary? Oh, okay. Grand Forks is the home of the University of North Dakota. Go Green. And then Fargo is the name of a movie. And also the home of the North Dakota State University. So that's important. Just on today's weather map, I saw Fargo on the map, and the weather is coming from Fargo, not Minot, okay? Okay, so where are we at, Mary? Let's see where we're at. I think we should start with the real program. Okay, so the next one is, I want to explain to you what Cranbrook is. Cranbrook is, the formal name of Cranbrook is the Cranbrook Educational Community, or CEC. It contains centers of education, science, and art. It's located on the 319 acres campus in Bloomfield Hills, and it's only 2.5 miles north of the church here, so easy access. In 1989, it was designated a National Historic Landmark, that's CEC. It's comprised of several different pieces here. There's an art academy who gives some pretty prestigious art awards. There's Cranbrook schools there, all the way from pre-kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. There's a contemporary art museum, a fantastic institute of science. There's a collections research, and more relative to this topic today, there's a Cranbrook House and Gardens. I think you got brochures on the Cranbrook House and Garden, and for even more information, you can go to the websites to get as much more information than anybody want to know. Okay, the brochure I brought you you see in the front cover there's the actual. It features a sunken garden from 2024. Okay, so starting looking at Cranbrook a little more. Here's a Cranbrook House and Garden at the House and Gardens, and it sits on a 40-acre site, and it's a 1908 arts and crafts style building. It was designed by renowned architect Albert Kahn, Detroit architect, and is designed for the Cranbrook founders George Booth and Ellen Scripps Booth. It's the oldest manor home in the Detroit area. If you walk around Cranbrook House, you see 40 acres of trees and stone walls and sculptures and fountains, and over 12 different gardens surrounding the house. So next slide, I think. So here, this garden, okay, this shows a garden from 2019, and distinctive patterns and color combination are used to change the look of the sunken garden annual beds every year. And then on the north and south side of the garden, maybe you can point, north and south side of the perimeter of the garden, you can see there's perennials and outskirts of shrubs planted. Amazing gardens there. And for the last 16 years, I've had the privilege and challenge to create an annual flower design for this garden. One of the things I'd like to go through is the particular flower selection, how we select the flowers. I think we'll go one more. Okay, so the selection of annual flowers for the sunken garden has evolved over the years. Records in the early years, 35 years ago, they documented a very diverse series of designs and use of a large variety of flowers. The display trend now is moved from this, can I use the term horticulture smorgasbord? Does that work? Does that work? And unfortunately, I found out smorgasbord is a Swedish word, not a Norwegian word. Anyway, and so the emphasis now is on flower pattern, placement, and color. Begonias were the major part of our sunken garden annual design for many years, but in 2020 we switched over to a flower called sun patience. The sun patience flowers are planted at a 1 foot spacing rather than the 9-inch spacing or 6-inch spacing of the begonias. So the change reduces the required time to plant these designs. But with the bigger spacing, it reduces your ability to use some tight figures and And you don't have the sharp corners on some of these you might see with the begonias. Smaller flowers, that's something it's called pixels. If you look at a vision and everything, you get the smaller pixels, you get more detail. Okay, so I just like to bounce around and look at some of the previous garden designs. This particular design, what I like about this is several things. It shows you the proximity of the sunken garden to the Cranbrook house. So just west of the sunken garden is the Cranbrook house. And it's surrounded by all these beautiful fieldstone stone walls on all four sides. Originally, this garden was used as a vegetable garden for the Booth family and their staff. And this is designed, you're on the east end of the garden looking west. And this garden took a lot of flowers, some 1,400 sun patiens, 3,000 begonias. The white, I think the white ones are the begonias, and the other flowers are begonias, and the blue, taller ones are the blue salvia. So it took a lot of flowers to do this one. What do we go to next? Okay, here's another picture of the same garden. You can clearly see the 4 rows of annuals there. And again, the north and the south side have perennials on it. And you can tell I'm fond, or I'm most comfortable with symmetry and geometric shapes. And if you look, this particular design, maybe you have these big red, pink, and red-pink circles going all the way around those 4 rows. And if you had an aerial view of this, you could see the geometry there. And I think the yellow of this is a flower called celosia. It's kind of a pointed flower, so there's the yellow or gold right there. This is viewing the garden from the west end on the stairway. The crest on the railing there is the Booth family crest. It has that white chevron on there, and the 3 B's, standing for 3 industrial generations of the Booth family. This is just a closer look at that same garden, looking from the north wall, looking down, and you can see the dense planting of begonias and about a lot of flowers planting to make this design. And you can see that the green there will be eventually the blue salvia, but it's pretty easy early after the planting. So I see a couple blue speaks on there. So that's from 2014, and a couple thousand flowers to do that design. Okay, in terms of creating a new design, I go through a pretty lengthy process. I have access to over 25 years of previous designs. I draw ideas from early daily objects like rugs and clothing. If I go into a wallpaper store, it blows my mind because it's so many different designs and figures, and of course you get hints all over from nature. Again, I'm most comfortable with designs that are heavily symmetrical and have repeating cycles or patterns. So I like things like diamonds and ovals and circles and triangles and arcs. And serpentine or undulating strings are great. Colors bring life to the design, but only certain colors are available. Where are the blue flowers? I think they're a little tough to find. At least I found that fun. But next I'd like to take you to the process of creating one of these designs. In this particular one, we look at the 2024. We start out with 4 rows of soil, these big long rows of soil, and the volunteers have weeded these 4 rows and prepped them for the next design. The fact that this is just narrow rows, it kind of really restricts what kind of design you could make. If you could think about it, what if we removed all that grass? Couldn't you do a lot of different designs out there? We could look like Disneyland. And I think one of the first things I put out there was a couple of smiling faces. Okay, so here, these 4 rows have been prepped and are waiting for the flowers. So I need a design sketch. And I searched around all sorts of things, and I finally came up with the concept of butterflies and rainbows. Pretty strange, maybe. So here's my sketch. And you can maybe see the butterflies and rainbows on there. What's that, a rainbow butterfly? A butterfly. No. So, and this particular, it's old school, but it's done by hand and graph paper, and it's to scale. So I'm going to be able to use this drawing to figure out how many flowers are required for each one of those areas on this design.
You have to mathematically figure out, like, so many inches has so many flowers and all that.
How we do it?
You use math to figure out how many flowers go in. By this field.
Sure, I got a drawing. I put in 1 foot spacing and plunk down the numbers.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, so it works, Marcy. So that was the design sketch, and then you had to transform that design sketch to the physical garden. This particular design, it's comprised of a whole bunch of arcs. And what I've figured out that really works well for doing these arcs, I'm using 10-foot piece lengths of half-inch PVC pipe. And you put those PVC pipes, some of these are 20, 30 feet long when you put them together. And so this design is laid out like that. And
Rainbow, and here's the butterfly.
yeah, and if some of the designs you only have straight lines, so you can do that with just string. And one of the designs that we'll be seeing just with straight strings. So I consider this. Have you ever done paint by number? This is sorted by plant by area. Okay, so and here's the 10 different areas for this particular design. And each area had a certain number of plants required to fill in that area. For that first top area, it took 14 plants per, and there were eight of those areas, and the color in those areas was purple. Okay, so those 14 areas, 14 plants per area, 8 areas gives me 112 purple plants for this design. And you just keep on going down the list of the 10 different areas, all the way down. Yep. And so, for example, the total on the very bottom there, they're going to take 392 purple plants, 328 orchid color. Orchid is a blue color, it's light blue. And then there's hot pink, white pink, and the last one is coral pink. You can see those coral pink you see in the butterflies. So that's the design sketch. And okay, what's next, Mary? Okay, so then you order the flowers, and we have a holding area where we temporarily hold the flowers. This area is right next to the sunken garden, and on the other side is the greenhouse that's usually coming to visit sometime. And so these flowers are waiting here, waiting for the volunteers to come in and plant in the different areas. I don't have a picture of the volunteers planting this specific garden, but I have it. Oh, here's the layout again. And this is a picture of volunteers planting the garden for 2025. Yes?
What time of year are they planting?
What's what?
What time of year?
At the very end of May or first part of June, after we think there's not going to be any frost. Okay. So, and here you can't. It's hard to see, but there's strings detailing all the triangles and the parallelograms in here. And okay, and then I think what's going on next? You're designing any of this? Here's the finished garden, okay, and you can hopefully see the butterflies, and but when you look at clouds, do you see figures in the clouds? Designs? No. Okay. You must have the certain amount of imagination required to figure out what's on this design. Okay, so
Does it help that the state of Michigan is like one of the largest bedding plant?
We have a very good nursery we get our flowers from. And so you order thousands of flowers. You don't grow that. You want uniform size of flowers and reliable.
When do they start growing these flowers, Paul?
January? Or earlier than that, I think.
Paul, what is the source of funding for the garden?
The Cranbrook Sunken Garden, we put on several events. So we have plant sales. We have there's house tours that have a fee to go. If you want to go on a docent-led house tour, I say tour, I meant tour. How do you pronounce T-O-U-R?
Tour.
Not tour. So I have a problem, but okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, now we just bounce around to some other gardens. This one is from what, 2012, and this one, the theme here is called Diamonds with a Twist. And I said a diamonds with a twist because you look down the individual roll, you see diamonds. If you looked at this design from up in the air, you'd see a diamond cutting across those 4 rows.
Oh, yeah.
So this is diamond with a twist. So that was, okay, and you see up on this area, and there are all sorts of urns around the gardens, and these are some beautiful flowers and urns on the west staircase. Next one. Here's an aerial view of the 2015 garden, and this is a bunch of half circles. It's quite a while since they were planted, so the flowers are mounded up and filled out really well. I think that's a pretty picture. And I don't know who do you design that, Mary? No, okay. Okay. Here's a different one. It's different because here we only have 2 rows of annuals. They forced me to have 2 rows of vegetables. I don't like vegetables. Okay. But here, it really turned out really well. And I think there were some beans that will be eventually climbing up those blue ladders. And I think there's also marigolds, several different flowers, vegetables out there. So it worked out better than I thought it would. Those 2 green pyramidal plants are boxwoods on the near side here.
Paul, what is the green inside?
The green is probably again salvia.
Oh, this?
No, I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, the one in,
This one?
The one
That might have been
inside.
cabbage.
the
This
side.
is
Aren't there some blue flowers? I think I see the lemon. I think the salvia again.
Oh,
Okay. Is there some blue in this in front here? Anyway, let's say it's salvia.
Oh, you can see little blues. There. Yeah.
What did Marcia say?
Any that have scents,
Scent, like
fragrance.
Fragrant.
You have any flowers that are
I suppose. Okay, so that's that garden, and you might notice that the shield, the crest here, changed colors, which I think. Here is another one for 2018. This is a serpentine, one of my favorite ones. Serpentine goes all the way around this end here. It wasn't originally designed to do that, but as we started laying it out, we just continued going around the ends. At the very far end, you see an opening there, and that's a gate. If you go down there, you go down to the native plant area, way back there, and a couple of ferocious lions on those 2 posts back there.
You can see the salvia, Paul, here.
You see the yep. Okay, so that was that one. Here's another aerial view, 2021, and this one theme is what? Diamond and X's. I just made that up. Okay, but you can see the center there. To me, that's some of a diamond. And this is late in the season there, so these flowers are really bushed up, and they actually form almost really high mounds of flowers. So I think another pretty one.
Are those white begonias?
I think that these would be begonias. Yes. And I think they're probably pretty much all begonias. Oh, here we go. Towards the end. Now, Mary is not standing on the railing. Okay? At least she would. Mary's not standing. And this is, now, so the theme here after the thought, we call it waves. Is that okay? It's going to be waves. So that's kind of a tour through the bunch of old gardens. And I'm going to like to give you a sneak preview of what next year's garden is going to look like. Okay, secret. Here's the design, I think. And this is going to be pretty complicated to lay out. There's going to be a lot of arcs. I probably have to buy some more PVC pipe, okay? But in this one, it consists of 12 different arcs that are intersecting. I've ordered about 1,700 sun patients to fill this in. The planting, like somebody mentioned, planting would take place at the end of May or 1st of June. And I think this should look good, look great if we can get this thing planted. Any questions on that? And then this is all done by hand. There must be a better way of doing all this design, but I'm stuck in the past. Okay. Here, once again, are there some questions? I still got some more things to go over, but any questions so far? Yes.
What in your education and background enables you to do this work?
I have degrees in math and physics. And I did, at the end of my career, go through the Master Gardener class in Oakland County. And since then, which was probably 30 years ago, I've forgotten everything. So, yeah, but that's, yeah, so, yes.
Have you named your 2026 garden?
You have a suggestion?
Helix?
Helix? Okay. Felix? Helix. I think,
Ribbons of color, something Celtic?
Ribbons, so lots of ribbons.
just,
I like ribbons of color.
I think just strands. Yes.
Did the deer ever get down there to have lunch?
They can, but not. It's kind of tough because the gate at the east side has a gate, a snow gate there, and the other side is a bunch of stairs. But they have been known to be down there. One day I saw there was a high wall on the north side, and one day I saw a dog fall off that wall, and the pit bull, he got up and walked away.
What are sun patients? I don't know that.
Yeah, it's a pretty new flower thing. To me, it's like impatient, but it tolerates sun. Okay.
Could you repeat the question, please?
What are sun patients? Best thing is to look it up.
Well, they're kind of like New Guinean patients, but they tolerate sun.
Yeah, I think so. But they,
Kind of like New Guinean patients,
Yeah.
have you seen those? Those require shade.
Yeah.
But these are a new variety that.
Yeah.
I think so. I just know that they work and they got some nice colors. Okay. Okay, so what is coming next is I'm going to try to do a YouTube time-lapse movie of people planting the 2019 garden, okay? And it goes really fast. We got some really fast volunteers at Cranbrook, unbelievably fast. And I hope this thing works. Okay. Let's see that thing, Mary. So they're planting, they're weeding here. They still have to weed this area here and down here. Come on, I think we're getting into some bad weather. Here's somebody, oops, she stopped. Somebody weeding. Oh, she's getting help, Somebody has to clear that area out. Don't forget. What? Do it. There's the rain. String down, fertilizer down. Come on. Yay! Nope, so, oops. Oops, I can't get out. Okay, I don't think it's a problem. So that's the it anyway. So, and I think Pastor Lou told me there wasn't going to be anything nasty on here. So,
How many days did it take to plant that garden with all the flowers?
you know, recently with the Sun patients, with like 15 people, we can do it in like 4 to 6 hours.
But in those days, you took,
But back when we had begonias, we took several days, and it was very, because there were sometimes like, I think sometimes 5,000 flowers, you know. So, and anyway, I hope you have time. Maybe I'll see you sometime in the Sunken Garden. Hope you can visit, and you can always look up. And then Mary wanted me to just say this little poem. The itsy bitty spider climbed up the water spout. The rain came.
all right.
Hey, thank you. Okay, good stuff.
Are there any other questions for Paul?
Yes. Oops.
Do you personally do the PVC layout of the design?
Yes. Yep.
How long does that take?
Hours probably, but a lot of help. So you got some specific points for an arc, like three or 4 points, and then you just put the PVC through those points. So it goes pretty fast.
You start in early May.
Yeah, we start, and then I've recently like the last year I didn't plant a single flower. I pointed. And it's amazing. You have the people planting flowers. Some are really good. But if you have 2 flowers and you want to put another flower right in line with those 2, you should be able to put that flower in line with those 2 in the end. But not always. And some people, it'll fill in. It'll look okay. But it's turned out really, really well. I appreciate your attention and yes.
What's your favorite part about this whole process?
I think looking at the final, you know. And then people really seem to enjoy this garden, and somebody said that they call it ironic. No, iconic. I'm sorry. So it works, and I had some other little speech prepared here. 4 years and 7 years ago, 4 score, and then Mary said, "No, that's the wrong one. 4 score." And 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. And I think I was going to do this one for Pastor Lou, because I think he knows where Gettysburg is. All right, thank you.